name is Angela and today I'm going to show you how I make a French macaron. We're going to start by blending 140 grams of almond flour and 130 grams of icing sugar to make them much finer than they actually are. These days when you buy almond flour especially, they can be big nodules in there that will ruin your macaron. So we need to just give it a quick pulse. Make sure you don't turn it into butter because of the oil in the almonds, but just give it a quick pulse. What I'm going to do is sieve that. As much out of there as we can. Pop that back on. Sieve that through there. So all the icing sugar has gone through, but we still have, as you can see, some bits there of almond flour. I'm not going to push that through because obviously I want to get it as smooth as I can. Now I'm going to actually repeat this process again to make the mixture even more fine. While I'm just mixing this through, I'd like to say hi to Jan Woodison, who I know is watching at home in the UK. And I'd also like to say hello to Felicia, who is actually watching in Malaysia. So hi to you both. I hope you enjoy this video. Right, now, as you can see now, it's becoming much more of a flour, a much smoother texture, finer consistency. So again, I'm going to put it through the sieve. Go down, there we go. And again, we're going to sieve it through. I'm just gently touching these. I'm not pushing anything through. I'm just gently pushing it through. And as you can see, even again, there's a few more bits. So we throw that away. And we just do then one final time. So it's 3 times in total. This may seem a bit over the top, but I assure you it helps. So for the last time, we'll whiz this. That should be fine. And that's the last time. And again, last time. Sieve it through. In the mixture, I have actually allowed for some of the mixture to be discarded because I know there always are the larger lumps that you do have to get rid of. So I have allowed for that. If you do want to make this recipe, all the ingredients will be underneath in the description box. So if you look for the little arrow, press the little arrow, and again, look, we do have, even though we've sieved it and sifted it 3 times. Right, so that's there, that's finished. We're going to pop that to one side. Next, we're going to do the egg whites. Now, what you must be sure of, that everything you use, all your equipment and your bowls and everything are very clean. Because egg whites will not respond if there's any trace fats at all in your bowl or on your equipment. So what I like to do is I've used white vinegar, and literally, even though the bowl is very clean, I just want to make sure there's absolutely no fats left in here at all. So give that a really good clean. Like that. just again, same thing on the whisk, because I will be using that later. So make sure that's clean. And also the whisk, the egg whites are going to go into. Just make sure it's completely clean and there's no traces of fat at all. Good. Okay. Now then, into my bowl I'm going to put 100 grams of egg whites. Now, a lot of people say to make macaron you should use old egg whites. Now, when I say old egg whites, they certainly must be room temperature. There is a lot of people think that you should use egg whites that have been sat at room temperature for 2 to 3 days. And how you would do that is just cover them with cling film and put a few holes in it and just let them sit there for 2 to 3 days. I think it's okay to just have them at room temperature. I've never bothered to do the 2 to 3 day thing, and mine seem to come out okay, so I don't think it's terribly important. Now then, what we're going to do, we're going to whisk this, starting slowly and then build it a little bit faster. And then when it becomes frothy, we'll start to add a few more things. And here I've got half a teaspoon of salt, sorry, a quarter teaspoon of salt and a quarter teaspoon of cream of tartar. So we're going to start it off slowly and then build it up a little bit until it becomes a little bit frothy. When it becomes frothy, we can then add a quarter teaspoon of salt and a quarter teaspoon of cream of tartar. Next, we're going to slowly add 100 grams of castor sugar. Just very, very slowly. Like so. Give it a chance to fully incorporate. We can now add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Let's see how we are. As you can see, it's still, it's not quite as stiff as it should be. For a French macaron, it's got to be pretty stiff. It's not too bad. It's just beaten a little bit. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take it out of the mixer and put it into my bowl, and I will finish it off at the end. What you find, you see, is it collects in the middle of the whisk when it's starting to get to the correct thickness. Mixture out. Sorry, making a lot of noise here, banging the bowl. Okay. Now then, I'm going to change from my spatula to my whisk, which again I've already cleaned. And I'm just going to give it a really good beat. It'll be easier and quieter if I pick it up. This is a good workout, girls. Like an ice cream. But as you can see, it's completely in the centre of the whisk, so it's nice and thick. And Right, now we're going to gradually add in, I'm going to add in about 1/4 of the almond flour and sugar mixture. And now this is the part of the macaron stage that is called the maconage. And this is where you slowly, by going around the outside and through the middle, incorporate the almond mixture. While I'm at this stage, because I don't want to overbeat it, I'm going to put a little bit of colour in. Rather than have white macaron, I think we'll go for some yellow today. Just take a little. So this is, you don't need a lot of this because it's very strong. So, but you need a fair bit initially. So I'm almost contradicting myself, but you need a fair bit initially because you're going to add a lot more mixture, and as you add more mixture, the colour lightens. So we'll start with this and see how we get on. So as I say, round and through the middle. Like that. And now we can add the rest of our mixture. I'm sort of sweeping around at the bottom and then cutting through, and it's because a lot of the mixture pools down at the bottom there, and you want to make sure that you've got everything incorporated. And now you've got to keep beating it until you can almost drop it into a figure eight. So you know it's still quite thick, it's sort of V-ing rather than running. So you just keep going. Still. And as I say, this is called the maconage stage. Once we've got it to the correct consistency, we're going to put it in a piping bag and then pipe our macaron. See, it's running a bit more now. Almost there. What you want is you want to be able to hold it up and then draw ribbons, or some people do a figure eight, or literally just there. Right, I think we're there. Now we have to decant the batter into our piping bag. I find it handy to use a jug like this and to put the edges over so that it gives you your hands free. You can also hold it and put the bag over your hand as you are putting them in. And at the bottom, I've actually got the bottom bent over like this because it's quite a runny batter, and if you had it just pointing downwards, it would just come out straight away. So just twist it round and get it into your hand. Now then, if we just talk a little bit about what I have here. Underneath this, it's just a baking sheet with a template of circles, which I actually downloaded off the internet. And what you can do is if you put a tiny bit of batter in each corner, it will then stick the paper down. I've actually got the little clips here just because sometimes the paper sort of moves and blows away, so I just find it easier to be held in place like that. So this is our macaroon mixture. So now we have to pipe it onto the circles. So the best way to do it is keep your piping bag upright and just follow the circles. People are very good at this. They do like a little swishy thing at the end, which I haven't mastered, I'm afraid. Now that we have the two trays piped, what we need to do is bash them to get all the air out of it. So you literally just drop them onto the counter. And now you have to leave them until they form a skin. That will normally take anything from 15 to 30 minutes, dependent on how warm your climate is or how much moisture is in the air. So we'll just put them to one side now and allow them to form a crust. In my bowl here, I've just been making the filling for the centre. So I put into here 160 grams of icing sugar, 56 grams of butter, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a teaspoon of lemon zest, and half a tablespoon of lemon zest, and half a tablespoon of cream. And I've mixed it all together until we've got this butter-like consistency. So now we are going to decant this into my piping bag here and pop it in the fridge so that it will stiffen up slightly. So that's the consistency you want. So I'm going to pop that into another icing bag. And pop it in the fridge, and then we'll be ready to ice our macaron. Down to the bottom. And there we have it ready, pipe. When we're ready. The macarons have now formed a skin so that when you actually touch them, there's nothing on your fingers at all because they have like a little skin across the top. So they're ready to go into the oven. They're going to go into a 160-degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes. So here are the cooled macaroons. They've now cooked. And what I've done is I've turned one over and cut one, and I've tried to put them the same size together so that when you put them together as a duo, they're the same size. Now, what I've done is, what I like to do is, I've made a little bit of lemon curd here. Now I know I haven't shown you how I made that, but what I will do is in the description box below, I will put the recipe for this and how to make it, and then you will have it should you need it. So what I like to do is, this is our buttercream. I've just taken the end off our piping bag here, and what I want to do is I'm going to do a ring around the outside like that. I'll just go down the one side of here for now for you, just to show you what. his own, that one. And then in the centre, I like to put the lemon curd. Like that. And then you just put your top on and just put a little bit of pressure so that the actual cream goes to the edge. So here we have the finished item. As you can see, there's the little feet. The little rough bits here either side are called feet. And it's where, when you have a crust on the top of the macaron, when it's in the oven, it pushes itself up. And that's what causes the air, and it gives this sort of ruffled little effect there. So there we have it, our macaron with a lemon flavoured filling. Enjoy, everyone. For best results with the macaron, it's better to leave them for 2 or 3 days. That's if you possibly can. If you'd like to see any more of my recipes or any more of my videos, please subscribe, and then you will be sent them directly to your inbox and you won't miss any. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.